welcome back to Live and Breathe Horses. And today we are going on with this wonderful collection of stories, More Than a Horseman, about Tom Dorrance. Today's story comes from Bobby and Barbara Cotta. As you know, Bobby and I are so grateful for the time we were able to spend with Tom. I think the funniest story was when Tom was helping Bobby with a couple of 3-year-olds that were on their way to the snaffle bit futurity. Tom started by having Bobby carry the flag while riding the colt, and then he and Bobby used the flag to manoeuvre the colt right, left, forward and back. In the initial stages, Bobby would use the reins for direction, followed by the flag. Gradually, he began to rely less on the reins and more on the flag. The next step was to tie the reins to the saddle horn and primarily use the flag to manoeuvre the horse. During this process, Bobby and the colt became very in tune to the energy felt during the speed up and slow down, or what one might refer to as bringing up the life in your body and using this energy to accelerate and drive the horse forward, or to draw back and slow the horse down. The horse began to really be comfortable staying with the person, which enabled Bobby to eventually ride his colt without the bridle. Tom and Bobby doing all sorts of things on those colts without using the bridle reins, and then, with perfect timing, Tom was absent for a day or two, and of course Bobby got brave and removed the bridle completely while doing all those things. Bobby couldn't wait to tell Tom about it, so he gave Tom a call that evening, and with a laugh, Tom replied, "Oh good, now you can have a tack sale." Cutting with Tom, cow work. I was familiar with Tom's expertise working with colts and have been so privileged to have him guide me through the process. But when it came to working cattle, I again witnessed just how amazing Tom's talent was. Tom told me about a herd of cows and calves that he was caring for, and he spent time just circling the herd until he was able to ride up on horseback next to a cow, reach out and pick up the ear tag to read the number. Tom said he'd accomplished this by starting out riding around those cows first at quite a distance, gradually getting closer until he was able to reach out and touch the ear tag. Tom helped me with working a colt on cattle, and to build this colt's confidence, he had me working from the herd, similar to a show situation. Tom would have me separate one cow from the herd, and while driving it out, which would be towards the judge's stand, away from the herd, allowing the cow to break, say towards the left. Then going with the cow, round my horse's body out and zero in behind the cow's left ear, putting just enough pressure on the cow to cause it to turn away from the horse. We would repeat this process on the opposite side. The next step would be to position my horse past the cow just enough to cause the cow to turn in towards my horse instead of away. The horse became very confident in controlling the cow, and so causing the cow to turn towards my horse became the process of the horse learning to draw the cow. Draw the cow and turning the cow towards you, horse, drawing the cow in towards the horse and causing the cow to turn towards the horse. Driving the cow away, then drawing the cow in would be repeated again and again on both sides. Tom would have me drive the cow away for several turns, then begin to draw the cow in towards me for several turns. As the cow began to get closer to the herd or pick up momentum, which was the cow applying more pressure on the horse. Tom would have me then position my horse in the manner that would cause the cow to turn away. The horse learned to rate and measure. In other words, the horse began to read the cow, which enabled the horse to maintain control over the cow with confidence. To draw the cow in, Tom would have me do just the opposite, which would be to fade away or to not apply any pressure as the cow went across the arena. Then, while staying parallel to the cow, just slightly out-travel it, which would cause the cow to turn towards my horse. After about 3 passes like that, then Tom would have me go right back to turning the cow away. So the horse got to where it could drive the cow away or draw the cow in. And it really got a game going between the cow and the horse. And the horse got more and more precise at reading the cow. And the horse learned he could control the situation by controlling the cow. The horse enjoyed the game and began to welcome even more challenges from the cow. The pack scrabble. Bobby had started a couple of colts and all was going well, so the owner decided we would take the 2 colts on a hunting trip and use the colts as pack horses. The owner came out and brought his saddle horse he would be using on the trip, along with his gear for the colts. He pulled his pickup and horse trailer into the roping arena, saddled his horse and tied it to the trailer. Bobby brought in 2 colts. The first one was saddled with a pack saddle and lunged around a bit. Then the canvas bags were added to the pack saddle and all was going very well. So it was decided that some flakes of hay would be added to the bag to fill them out a bit. This also went very well. Next, the other colt was saddled with a pack saddle. So far, so good. But this time, instead of canvas bags, the owner had aluminium boxes attached to the pack saddle. Now, this really wasn't a problem, except that the owner didn't mention to Bobby that the aluminium boxes were filled with supplies such as forks, knives, spoons, frying pans, canned goods, and more. When that colt started to move and things started to rattle, the pack scramble began. The colt shot out of there like a bullet to the other end of the arena. The saddle horse then pulled back and was running with the 2 colts. After a few laps of the arena, a strap broke loose on the colt with the noisy boxes. One box landed on the arena floor and the other began to slide under his belly. And when everything finally came to a rest, there were utensils, frying pans and canned goods all over that arena, and it was nearly dark. So that evening, it was time to call Tom. I really thought Bobby was going to be in trouble now, but Tom just had a laugh and said, just let those colts rest a day or so. Then he would be over and they would give it another go. Later, Bobby and Tom began working with those colts again as the owner and a few other fellows looked on. It didn't take long and Tom had everyone involved in the situation. Tom directed as the colt was handled and given a refresher course on accepting and being controlled by a hind leg. The colt was familiar with the process and that procedure had been part of the initial starting process. There were men stationed at both ends of the horse, working in a 60-foot round pen. One person controlled the colt by the halter and lead rope, while the other controlled from a rope on the hind leg. The person with the halter and lead rope would lead the colt forward, and then the person on the leg rope would stop and then back the horse by the hind leg rope. Tom was careful in directing as to how much pressure to use and when to give. As the colt became easier to control by the leg rope, the pack saddle was added, then the empty aluminium boxes, and finally the items were placed in the boxes to create the noise. In the beginning, it took about 4 men wearing leather gloves taking a hold of the leg rope to maintain control. As the colt got more comfortable with carrying even a noisy load, he was easier to control and was no longer bolting. A week or so later, the owner was able successfully to pack into the Sierras with his 2 colts. Good old Tom. That was a bit of a long one today. Thank you very much for joining me. Keep tuning into the light, and I look forward to see you next time.